my very great pleasure to welcome you to this auspicious occasion. It's the third annual Authors Night for Kinley First Publishing House, and we're so pleased that all of you are here. Before we start with our program, it's a wonderful opportunity for me to tell you about what happens with beginning writers. And so, since I have the microphone and I have a captive audience, I get to do that. We have come a long road this year for your children to be able to produce these books. Of course, when children enter first grade or second grade or third grade or whatever, they all come in at many different places. But I can tell you that most of the children came in with at least a limited knowledge of letter-sound relationships, some of them much, much stronger than others. A few of them had begun to write, but most of them had not. Writing begins with scribbling, and the children think they're writing. And that's fine, they are writing because they had an idea in their head as they made those jots on the paper. But as they begin to understand that letters make words and words make ideas, and they know some letters, then when they write a string of random letters. And that's their story that they want you to read and appreciate. Then as they go along, they are drawing pictures to tell their story, and they'll put a beginning letter beside their picture. And then they may know how to write mom or dad, and so they label their pictures. And then, as the process goes along, they know that they know the beginning letters of a lot of words. So their sentence will now not be a string of random letters, but a string of beginning sounds. And then, as the process goes along, and they know that it takes more than one letter to read to form a word, because all the time they are having experiences with books that show them what conventional writing looks like. And so then their letters begin to have some spaces between them now and then, because they know that's what printed work looks like. And then they, the more familiar they get with their letters and sounds, then we have beginning and ending sounds, and eventually they work into the vowel sounds. Now that's what happens with children. On the other side of it, we do some things in the classroom to promote this letter-sound relationship understanding so that they will be better able to communicate in writing the ideas that are in their head. One of the things that I remind the children frequently is if you can think it, you can say it, and if you can say it, you can write it. And so they work at getting their ideas down on paper. And we work with them. One of the things that I discovered a few years ago at California Reading Conference was a program called Zoophonics. And it has been a wonderful part of our writing program ever since. The reason that it is so wonderful for first graders especially is that they see the letter, they learn the name of the letter, they learn the sound of the letter, and they have permission to wiggle. And they don't get permission to wiggle just a whole lot of the time in school, and so that's a really fun thing for them. And what I have found is that children will be, when they say a word, you ever listen to children try to say a word like, spell a word man, and they're writing, and as they go. Well, then, if they're using their phonics, they may be going, little wiggles that go with it. And there is research about how that body movement helps your memory, and so that it helps them connect the letters to make the sounds that they want in their writing. That's one piece of the training that they have to be writers. Another piece of the training that they have to be writers is a program called McCracken's Spelling. Now, for many years as a first grade teacher, I would say to them, just sound it out. that they know what sounds and letters belong together. And number two, it's assuming that they can track those sounds through a word and get them in the right order. And so McCracken spelling is something that teaches them or trains their ear to hear the sounds in sequence in a word. And those two things have been a real benefit to the children in becoming writers. That's just a little bit of the process that they have gone through to get here tonight and be ready to perform for you, which is one of the things that they're going to be doing a little bit later in the evening. But right now, I'm going to have Mrs. Rainier come and explain to you about literary awards in children's literature. For those of you who may not know, Donna Rainier is our classroom assistant and my right arm for many years. But she also is our school librarian, and she is a real authority on children's literature. She's very, very knowledgeable about that part of the written word. So, Mrs. Rainier?
My favorite thing. Tonight, I'm here representing your children as their library coordinator, and most importantly, these great guys, their instructional assistant. They can tell you, I'm sure, I hope, we talk a lot in the library about 3 awards through the whole years. Not just our library, but the whole Petaluma City Schools really emphasizes, we get together and we really work on what we feel is really important for the children of Petaluma. And one of the things is to know great literature. And there's 3 great awards every year given to elementary school libraries. And if I said the Caldecott, not the Calcutta, but the Caldecott, one student told her grandparents, her grandmother, that we were going to give the Caldecott, the Calcutta award tonight. So we're not giving the Calcutta, but we are going to give the Caldecott, which is an award given for literature. I mean, for illustrations, for the pictures. The second award is for the written word. It's called the Newberry Word. It's the story. The last award is my favorite award. It's called the Young Metal Book. The first 2 awards, the Caldecott and the Newberry Award, is given and voted for by educators and librarians all over the state of California. Our school children receive them off this. The one thing that I make sure that's in the library are the Caldecott and the Newberry Medal. For the last 2 weeks, about the last 2 months actually, I've been reading the Young Metal books, and those are books that are selected by the children themselves and voted on by themselves. And the award this year for our school was Ruby the Copycat. So the 3 awards we're going to give tonight are the same thing. The Newberry for the written word, the Caldecott for the illustrations, and last, the children's favorite book in the classroom. First of all, though, there's not a book out there that's not an award-winning book. Every single one of them, there's nothing there that's just all. I hope they haven't gone in the library. That's how good they are. So the 9th, 4th. For illustrations, the Caldecott Award in 1st grade is Ashley Beck. And for 2nd grade, for the Caldecott in illustration, it's Matthew Estes. For the Newberry, the story for 1st grade is Amy King. And for 2nd grade, for the 2nd year, is Matthew Gazzano. Jason, and for all, the only people that voted for this book are the children themselves. This is why no one had any influence on this other than the children. And it's called The Young Mental Book from McKinley, Brian Segura. And that's my big, boys and girls, you can sit down now. Thank you. Ashley, Amy. I don't have an award tonight. I thought of it too late. And I wish I had an award to bring a big, huge gold medal. All of you parents, I hope will stand in a really big applause for the best teacher for writing in the state of California, Mr. Khan.
We have one book here tonight that is a joint effort of our classroom. One of the things that we do during the course of the year is choose an author and read a bunch of their books. So we have done several authors this year, but the one that really took the kids' eye was Eric Carle, and we read a lot of his books, looked at his use of language, but also looked at his beautiful, beautiful illustrations. We were fortunate enough to see a film of Eric Carle demonstrating how he illustrates his books. And so after we had worked on our book, actually most of you probably are familiar with his Brown Bear, Brown Bear. Then there's also Polar Bear, Polar Bear. The brown bear is what you see, and polar bear is what you hear, I think. And so we wanted to do an adaptation of the books. So we decided that we would do Grizzly Bear, and then our word has to do with emotion. And so we worked quite a while at figuring out words that demonstrated movements that would be appropriate to the animal and the size of that animal. And so that book is on display for you tonight. It's called Grizzly Bear, Grizzly Bear. It's on the easel over there. The vocabulary in the book is remarkable, and I'm proud of it, but I'm reasonably sure that the children will be more interested in telling you about the illustration, and they really are beautiful. So be sure and have a chance to look at that either tonight or back to school night, open house in a couple weeks. We'll have another opportunity. Now I have a possible guest. Mrs. Hoffman, is Janitra here? Every year, something that happens at least countywide, I'm not sure how much bigger than that it is, there is a program called Young Writers. And our school takes part in that each year. And I wasn't certain whether we were going to be graced with her presence tonight. But Janitra is a 6th grade student here at McKinley School, and she is the 1996 McKinley School winner of the Young Writers Award. And she's going to read an excerpt from her story, except they said, yes, she's here, but I don't see her.
Oh, no.
And Janitra, will you announce your own story?
Well, let's give her a round of applause. Sorry.
Okay, as I mentioned a while ago, open house is in a couple of weeks, and tonight one of the members of the children are going to perform for you is a commercial for open house in room 21. We are well into the study of Petaluma and Petaluma's history, and so when they sing their song, you will understand how this is a commercial, and we want to entice you to come back again in 2 weeks and visit in our classroom.
Stand up to the back row. Okay.
song called We Are Euphonics Kids, and that's what they're going to sing for you now.
Ready? We are Euphonic kids, voices, animals, neighbors, dreams. We are Euphonic kids, voices, animals, yes indeed. We are Euphonic kids, voices, animals, with attitude. We are Euphonic kids, and now we introduce them all to you. Allie, Dove, Tina, Cat, Teeny, Deer, and Elephant, Francie, Fish, and Cora, too. They all live at the zoo. Bunny, Horse, and Guinea Pooh, Jellyfish, and Kangaroo, Lizzie, Nigel, too. They all live at the zoo. All the octopuses sweet, Kiwi, penguin, touches heat. Weedy, feather, babies, too. They all live at the zoo. Sammy, Snake, and Timmy, too. Umber, Winston, what a crew. They all live at the zoo. Billy, Weasel, Xavier, Fox, Nancy, Actor, Talk to Talk. Lisa, Zebra, welcome to come meet us at the zoo. Lisa, Zebra, welcome to come meet us at the zoo. Wonderful.
When you want to write a story, you must first engage your imagination. A story can be about any subject at all and should have a setting where the story takes place. You have to decide who the main characters will be and what kind of a problem they're going to have to solve. We hope our audience will enjoy our story, so we try to express ourselves with good language. We also want our readers to understand the meaning of our words, so we must choose each one carefully. We listen to each other's stories and help with ideas. When our stories were all written, we found that there were some tall tales, some very unusual stories, animal stories, real and make-believe stories. All our plots are fully developed. Nothing has been overlooked. Now our stories are published, our illustrations are completed. We are authors, and we hope that you'll enjoy our books. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the greatest of pleasure to introduce to you the 1996 authors from McKinley First Publishing House. Madeline Anderson, Julie Lee, Ashley Beck, A Trip to Disneyland. Michael Calkin, step up, Michael, author of I Went to the Park. Haley Coate, The Lost Planet. Kayla Ellis, Elizabeth and the Prince. Matthew Kirby, The Adventure of Curious and Lovely. Harley Law, The snake's bad dreams. Jesus Maldonado, Animal Stories. Robin Marcus, The Singing Princess. Michael May, The Spaceman and the Monster. Crystal Myers, Searching for a Mermaid. Patrick Nelson, The Farmer and the Petting Zoo. James Peter, The Leprechaun Story. Amy Payne, The Search for the Great Crystal. Roberto Ramirez, The Boy Who Went to the Moon. Molly Reagan, Zachary Went to the Moon. Robert Rapp Jr., The Power Rangers. Brian Servant, The Astronaut. Cecilia Texera, The Animals Help. Joey True, Jetta. He's not here this evening. Madison Webb, My New House in the Country. Joseph Wagner, The Fox's Friends. And Desiree Wacker, who also is not here this evening, A Day at the Fair. Now, the writers that are left on our stage are a select group. They happen to be second graders, and so we commend them to you as second-year writers at the publishing house of McKinley First. Matthew Estes, Camping at Hat Creek. Matthew Gazzano. Matthew meets a leprechaun. Ray McClintock, George Washington, The Time Traveler. William Ortiz, The Two Friends. Carrie King, The Brave Monkey and the Coconut Tree. And last, only because someone has to be last, is Nicole Vermillion, The Runaway Puppy. writers. Before we are dismissed, or before I dismiss the writers to go to their stations, there are a few people that I would like to thank. One is our principal, Mrs. Jean Hoffman, who helped plant our flowers, who also has gifted each of the boys and girls with a blue ribbon pencil at their station so that they will have an implement to sign autographs with. Now, Donna had her moment a while ago, but now it's my turn. I said, I think it's a sign of old age that you can't remember these kinds of things, but about 12 or 14 years, Donna has been at my side, and we really are a team when it comes to the classroom, and she is remarkably wonderful with your children in every way you can name. Sometimes I'm very jealous of her, because she gets more one-on-one time with every one of them than I do. But she is a wonderful, wonderful assistant, and this evening would not happen without an assistant who is as capable as she is in our classroom. And so I want to publicly say thank you to her for all that she means to all of us in the classroom. One other person I would like to thank is Sue Williams, who is a mother here at McKinley School, but she's also manager of the floral department at the new Lucky Store, and so is with her assistance in a nice break in the prices that our children are able to have their corsages and dinners tonight. And then the last person that I want to thank once again, and her name is printed in the bulletin. When I can see that comes from doing everything at church with a microphone instead of school. The program. In the program, it says patron of the program, Nanny Hewlin. When I wanted to start Authors Night 3 years ago, she was my room mother, and I went to her and asked her if she would help me raise money to do this project. And she said, I don't have a lot of time, but I'll just give you the money for your books. You do it, I'll pay for the books. And after the first night, our first author's night, she came immediately up to me and said, Mrs. Bond, as long as you are here and want to do author's night, I'll fund the books for you. And so we really are appreciative of her help in that way. And now we've come to the place in our program that says visit with the authors, and in just a moment, I'm going to dismiss the authors to go to their stations. I want to remind you that this is an author's night multiple, and I know that you are going to want to spend some time looking at lots of books and not just the books of your own particular author that brought you here tonight. All of the kids have done a wonderful job, and I hope you'll take some time to look at several of the books. And yes, the children have pencils, and they would be delighted to give you their autograph. And we do have refreshments in that as well. All right, authors, would you go and stand behind your name tag in your book? No, we have a commercial announcement.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Liddy. I'm the bilingual teacher, and one of the parents asked if I might mention that on open house night they will be offering a special Mexican feast for a small fee to raise funds. And she really appreciated if you'd all bear that in mind and maybe save a little bit for snacks to help raise some money for the school. Okay. Congratulations, authors. Great job.
Thank you all so very much for coming.
let her take her picture, and then I want your autograph. You got an autograph. I'm going to get Carrie's autograph, and sister's autograph. Will you sign this, and I'll look at your book? Hey, Laura, thank you. Just sign. You all in the gift program?
She made some mistakes.
Oh, well. Very nice.
Hi, thank you. This is for my grandpa.
Good boy. Did you sign your program?
Oh, yeah.
Sign mine.
He was here for a while.
Oh, that's why.